Do you know what? Great players are not recognised by how good they are with the ball, how many goals they score, or how many accurate passes they have per game. Great players are those who manage to maintain a high level of concentration for as long as possible. You heard it here for the first time. This is the most essential thing in football, and the goalkeeping mistakes in high stakes games you'll see here are not made because the players don't have the qualities, but because they have just lost a bit of concentration. That's all. So, if you want to witness how history has changed in front of your eyes, make sure you stay till the end, because these are the top 8 most stupid goalkeeping mistakes the world has seen. Number 8. Alisson vs Arsenal 2024. Yes, you might be surprised with our first pick, because this mistake hasn't technically changed history yet, but it definitely has the potential to, especially when we remind ourselves how close the title race is in the Premier League. The match was played in February 2024 and was the second game between Arsenal and Liverpool for the campaign. The first one at Anfield finished 1-1 as both teams had the opportunity to win it. However, this time, everybody knew that it would be crucial for the title ambitions of both teams, given Man City's problems in the Prem this season. Arsenal started well from the start, opening the scoring in the 14th minute. By the end of the half, the chances were mainly in front of Alisson's goal. Yes, but not before the Gunners made a big defensive error in the 45th minute, levelling the scoreline and bringing Liverpool back into the game. And just when everyone thought Liverpool had the chance to completely turn the game around in the second half, Alisson made one of the biggest mistakes of his career. Martinelli received a long ball, but it was guarded by Van Dijk, who expected Alisson to clear it. The Brazilian goalkeeper, however, failed to kick it and made a gift for his compatriot Martinelli, who simply put it into the empty net.
A Liverpool error pounced on by Gabriel Martinelli!
Number 7. Martin Dubravka vs Spain 2021. Let's turn back the clocks to the Euro 2020, which was held in the summer of 2021 because of COVID-19. Slovakia and Spain went into a final group stage match to decide the second seed going into the knockout stage after Sweden had already done it. The match started perfectly for Spain as Luis Enrique's boys had the opportunity to score from the penalty spot. However, even though Alvaro Morata had all the odds on his side, he missed. Then, in the 30th minute, with the scoreline still level, Spain's Pablo Sarabia made a terrific shot from distance that ended up hitting the crossbar. But the ball didn't go out of play to the surprise of everyone in the stadium. It headed sharply down towards Slovakia goalkeeper Martin Dubravka. He was visibly caught off balance with it, and in his attempt to knock it out for a corner, simply pushed the ball into his own net. Very unlucky for a goalkeeper of his calibre to make a mistake like that in a match that could have led his side to a dream run at the tournament. Well, after that, Slovakia conceded 4 more goals in the game and watched the knockout stage at home. Now, before we move forward, we kindly remind you to subscribe to the Blue Card channel. We have a massive project and you wouldn't want to miss any from us in the future, so click that bell button. Thank you. Number 6. Edouard Mendy vs Real Madrid 2022. Climbing up in our list, we have the quarter-final between Chelsea and Real Madrid in 2022. The Spanish title record holder was literally flying with Vinicius in his best season so far, with Courtois being the best goalkeeper in the world and Benzema being the best player in the world. The two teams had old scores to settle as Chelsea had beaten Real Madrid in the semis in the prior year. The game at Stamford Bridge, however, got off to a great start for the Spanish side, especially Karim Benzema. The Frenchman was just unplayable, scoring 2 wonder goals for the header, but right before half-time, Kai Havertz returned one back to help Chelsea for a potential second half comeback. Well, nothing like that. In the very first attack, goalkeeper Edouard Mendy had the ball and linked up with Andreas Christensen, but his pass was too short and Benzema stole the ball, completing his hat-trick. The match ended 3-1 and the return leg finished 3-1, but this time in Chelsea's favour, which meant that if it wasn't for Mendy's mistake, the Blues would have qualified. This is what it is to change the course of history with one simple move. Number 5. De Gea vs Barcelona 2019. Manchester United and Barcelona, two teams that always hide drama when they face each other in the Champions League. This time, the stage was the quarter-finals in the 2018-19 season. The first match between the two ended 1-0 at Old Trafford in Barca's favour. Well, the second leg was even better for the Catalan side, and especially from Lionel Messi, who scored a worldy solo goal in the 16th minute. Then, a couple of attacks later, the Argentinian received the ball around the edge of the penalty box and shot with his weaker right foot, which was expected to be an easy save from David De Gea. Well, this simply did not happen, not at all. The Spanish keeper dropped the ball beneath him, while the whole of Camp Nou was already cheering loudly for Barca's second goal. And although De Gea has always been an excellent goalkeeper, his consistency was not high. Which takes us back to what we said at the beginning of the video. You always have to assess situations with concentration, otherwise you risk the whole team suffering because of one such mistake. This, on the other hand, could be remembered as one of De Gea's most stupid errors in his career, given the importance of this Champions League game. Number 4, Willy Caballero vs Croatia, 2018. And speaking of the Champions League, let's head to a very memorable World Cup game in 2018. Argentina and Croatia crossed paths in the group stage. The Albiceleste failed in the first round of matches, drawing the underdog Iceland, which meant only one thing. The game between the two LM10s, Lionel Messi and Luka Modric, would be an all or nothing for Argentina. The game was even in the whole first half, which ended 0-0. However, both teams started the second part at a much higher pace, higher dynamics in the game and fewer fouls, which resulted in more situations in front of the goals. Well, everything was going to plan for Argentina until the 53rd minute, when Willy Caballero made a horrendous mistake in front of legend Diego Maradona, who was at the stadium that night. The keeper tried to clear the ball away, but instead set it perfectly for Ante Rebic, who smashed the ball with a volley in the top corner, leaving Caballero speechless. Overall, that World Cup was absolutely catastrophic for Argentina. The South American side got past the group stage, but lost miserably to eventual champion France in the round of 16. Also, there were some internal issues in the team, as there were rumours that Lionel Messi was building the squad, while coach Jorge Sampaoli didn't have the word at all. Number 3, Robert Green vs USA. Vuvuzelas, the Jabulani ball, and Andre Iniesta's brilliant final goal. All kinds of things that we associate with one of the most iconic World Cups of all time. But another interesting and memorable moment was in the match between England and the United States, two world economic powers that always live up to the expectations when they meet at a World Cup. England quickly scored the opening goal of the game after a combination between Emile Heskey and Steven Gerrard in the 4th minute. The USA were pushing hard for an equalising goal, but the Yankees couldn't find the proper solution for Robert Green's goal. Well, do you know what happened at the end? Green himself gave them the key to it. In one of the US attacks at the end of the half, Clint Dempsey receives the ball about 25-30 yards from goal and decided to try his luck.
Get away from Gerrard, fires it in hard alone, a desperate mistake.
His shot was weak and low, an easy job for any goalkeeper. Yes, but not for Green, apparently. The ball hit the ground just in front of the goalkeeper, making his job difficult. Then, Green underestimated the power of the shot and the ball slid between his legs, ending up in the net. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, but this mistake cost England dearly. The Three Lions finished their group in 2nd place and had to play Germany in the round of 16, while 1st place USA played Ghana. This is exactly what it means to be always 100% prepared, both physically and mentally, for every single game. Number 2, Sven Ulreich vs Real Madrid, 2018. And with that being said, we head to the two most outrageous, sensational, stupid, harrowing and whatever else you want to call it, mistakes. And also, do you know what the most curious thing is? Both happened in the same team's favour in back-to-back Champions League games. In number 2, we have the second leg between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich from the 2017-18 season. The first match ended 2-1 in Madrid's favour, as the Germans had to win to qualify for the final. Well, the game couldn't have started better for the away side. Joshua Kimmich scored in the 3rd minute, but then, in the 11th, Karim Benzema equalised. Overall, the game was full of drama and controversial situations. For example, that handball by Marcelo in the penalty box. However, the second half started at 1-1. And just like in the Edouard Mendy example, exactly the same happened literally in the first attack after the whistle. Bayern's midfielder Corentin Tolisso was put in a difficult situation near the touchline, and he decided to pass back to goalkeeper Sven Ulreich. The German hesitated for a second whether to kick the ball with his leg or to grab it with his hands. Well, quite frankly, that single second cost his team all you could imagine that night. The ball rolled between his legs and Benzema managed to punish this mistake. Bayern then made it 2-2, but all hope was already gone, and Real Madrid qualified for the Champions League final for a third year in a row, where they played number 1, Loris Karius versus Real Madrid 2018.
No! God, please, no! No!
You knew it right from the start, didn't you? There is hardly a die-hard football fan out there that wouldn't think of that Loris Karius performance when talking about goalkeeping mistakes. This has literally become a byword for failure in football folklore. And after we already discussed how Madrid qualified for that final, let's rewind how Liverpool did it as well. The Reds played Roma in the semis and beat them with the shocking 7-6 on aggregate, settling a meeting with Real Madrid. In the first half, the world witnessed one of the most boring minutes in the Champions League finals history. There weren't any memorable moments except for that KO of Sergio Ramos on Mo Salah. But the interesting things were definitely left for the second half. In the 51st minute, Karius caught the ball and tried to throw it to a teammate, but underestimated Benzema's presence near him. Thus, he still threw it, fatally. Benzema stretched out his leg and both men were just staring at the ball, as it was just rolling towards the goal for 1-0. This, as well as Karius' mistake for one of Gareth Bale's goals afterwards, has been remembered arguably as the worst goalkeeping mistake of all time. Just unacceptable to lose your mind in such crucial moments. And you, what is your say, guys? Which of these mistakes has been the worst? Or do you have some other in mind? Feel free to share with us in the comment section for part 2. Also, if you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.